Now, the final video in this pre-seminar videos um, would be around this question that I was asked. mm, what behaviors in the workplace manifest the yin and which ones the yang? That's a whole seminar by itself. I guess while answering it, I would have conducted the seminar right here. You see, maybe it wasn't right to call it just yin and just yang energy. Let's call it coherence of some kind. Mm, yeah, let's call it a coherence because that would make more sense. Because when you have this congruence that your talk is also your walk and your literally your speech, everything you're saying is exactly the things you're doing in the workplace. It really doesn't matter what you use, yin energy or yang energy. It's just that it's useful. But if you could learn both, let's say you took Aikido as opposed to Taekwondo um, as a martial art form, and if you learn completely to black belt level in both, it doesn't mean you use one as opposed to the other. It's a mix of both. It's a marriage that works very well. It's a coherence. It's a synergy that works very well. So a yang coherence would involve things like competition, maybe even accumulating, concentrating efforts in one direction, um, goal setting, maybe even performance growth, or having and doing something, that you can put on a wall um, and say, hey, that's me. That's what I've done. That's what our team has done, and all of that. It's peak experience. It's peak uh, um, exploring of power, personal power, and so on, and what you're able to do. It's the rational, analytical. It's the logical, the mental, the linear, the um, pursuit of certainty, and becoming certain about something that you needed to get done at some level. You might even include technology in that because technology is part of that whole yang coherence thing. Let me use my computers. Let me use my um, machinery to be able to express what my company can do or what it is that is best. And sometimes people with a lot of yang coherence tend to think that bigger is better. And so they think in terms of expansion. What can we do? Where can we conquer markets that we can take in the world? They work towards independence, independent from other market forces or market tendencies, independent from possible threats from competition, um, and always in yang coherent organizations, you'll find that hierarchy works best. There is a boss and there is dominions under the boss and so on and so forth, and subminions and so on and so forth. Maybe that's not the best choice of words, but there's always this idea of central authority, and from that central authority comes the dictum. Hence, you can draw an analogy if you like, and a lot of people are going to hate me for this, to the Roman Catholic Church and how it functions as well. There's a patriarch, and he does what he does, he says what he says, and the rest of the world follows, or the rest of the Catholic world follows. There's also the element of control, the element of planning, the element of cause and effect at work as well. You talk about the meta secret and the laws of cause and effect. This is where it comes in. For something to happen, I must do something about it. There is an action-oriented thing that has to go into play. And then, uh, in a yang coherent organization, you kind of take a look at the parts, um, where there's a form of reductionism that's taking place, where the parts tend to explain the whole. So you have all these subdivisions, you have all of these clearly delineated activities for various people around the world. Now, if you start to look at an organization that's more yin coherent, then you're starting to look at a cooperative venture. You're starting to look at cooperative um, way of thinking as well, circulating, giving, connecting, And the more we connect, the more we have power, the more we have an energy that pushes us forward in this literally a caring quality of life, not how many employees we have, but employees that are happy, employees that are functional, employees that make the organization literally incoherent. Um, it's a state of being, not a state of having more, not a state of having more profits, but a state of having an example, a good CSR program in place so that we give back to the environment what we take from the environment from which we derive our profits. Um, it's all about a yin coherent organization is all about sustainability. It's all about endurance. It's all about intuition, empathy, synesthesia. Working all together as well. A synthesis, a symbiotic way of living life. That's what a yin influenced or yin coherent organization is all about at the same time. While there's still paradox, there's also a physical, emotional, non-linear approach to logic as well. So this is the interesting thing. You get together in the boardroom of a yang coherent society, as opposed to the boardroom of a yin coherent society. You take a look at creativity that sparks off growth in areas that most people don't even think about. You talk about not doing things the normal way, or the regular way, or the staid way. If this, then this, if not this. You take a look at, hey, people, what else can we do that people haven't done before? It's an ability to hold ambivalence, as a matter of speaking. If you can do that, then you are definitely yin coherent. Um, Interpersonal skills, therefore, in that organization dominate. And because they do dominate, small tends to be beautiful, conservative tends to be a little bit better. There's an interdependence because everybody does know what they're doing, but at the same time, I depend on you to be able to complete some of the actions that I'm doing so that the whole, which we represent, becomes better and greater at the same time. The egalitarian way works best in a yin coherent society at that point. There's mutual trust, obviously, if this takes place, and because without the mutual trust, it becomes difficult. So this, out of this chaos, or it seems like chaos, is a self-organizing force that comes together. It's a faith in the future of what's coming, the faith of the trends that are showing up also at the same time. In a sense, it's about synchronicity. It's about saying, "Oh my God, didn't we just prepare for this? Aren't we lucky we were ready for this before it even happened? How amazing is that? We're talking about the holism. So that, in the essence, is probably all of the questions that the organizer had asked me, and I'm giving to you in that one um, um, video clip on this computer in my study in Varna by the Black Sea. The rest of what you want to know about me personally, let me do it by the sea. It'll be a good thing.